Did that capture? Oh, anyways, hello class. Today, this is our ninth session of our lecture for the day, to which, as you know, today's lesson, or for this class, as we've been doing monthly, it is our monthly music video analysis. This is the ninth lesson of the year, and hopefully, we can get something out of this analysis. To which, with that, that'll mean we will move on to today's coverage. To which, by clicking through here, pause the timer. Whoops. Oh, that's not in sync anymore. Sorry, class. I am set. Just, got my notes disorganized. So, anyways, yeah, I have my notes disorganized to the point that I don't even have it up open. Sorry, class. Alright, so today is of our ninth lesson within our music video analysis course. So obviously, with this, in order to be, for inspiring editors, obviously the easiest thing they can do is to throw together a music video. That's what is always taught and such. So, which is why for this entire year, I thought it would have been helpful if, like, hey, let's just take a look at some of these things and, like, try to learn from them so then we can utilize some of their skills and, put them into your own style so then you can understand how, so then you can understand the flow process of, like, throwing something like this together and such. So, today's music video will be on visions. What is visions? Well, as you can see from here, as I'll use my laser pointer, as you can see from here, this is a digital single released on August 8th of 2025. This is the opening theme for Kamen Rider Zets, and performed by sorry, I didn't rehearse this. Now, I'm gonna go with Nautic Vane. That's, you do not pronounce a Q T as an O and tick. So my apologies. But before we get into this, obviously we need to know, like, what was described about this song. So the information that was provided as to what this song is about, it was described as a heavy 808 bass, brass, and solid drums induce tension throughout the song, and the low pitch, rap, and minimum vocals intersect the emotional temperature difference. I actually kind of didn't really catch that with the song. So that's interesting to see. And following up with that, that's not it. rather than reviewing a single emotion in quotations that forgot to close itself, it is stated as instead they establish their own proud and secretive identity that is conveyed without having to say anything clearly. This is pretty interesting, I might have to say. And I think this is pretty important to know about, especially for getting into the song. So now we can move on to the next slide with who is Kamen Rider Zets. Well, as you can see from our notes, he's the 7th Reiwa Kamen Rider. His show premiered on September 6th, 2025. And he cameoed in Gob's summer movie. To which, if we were to show that right now, this isn't it. My apologies. Let me try to find it. That's weird. Maybe it's here actually. Maybe it's in this slide. Yeah, maybe it's in this slide. We'll just see. Jeez, what the heck? What the heck is that? Wait, why is it not showing anything? That's weird. Okay, stop. Sorry, class. I'm trying to play this, but okay, there. What? Why is there an ad? What is this even an ad for? Oh, it's a music video ad. I don't want to play that. What is this? Why is it so loud? This isn't the Zets cameo. Alright, yeah, I guess it is. Okay. Alright. So we got our teasers for Zets. To which I got released after the I think it was after the cameo. Now, obviously, people were excited about it obviously at first. However, when you take a closer look at the teasers, look at that. What did you see there? Nope. Watch again. The scums at Toy decided to use AI. Which, yeah, obviously that's indefensible. I don't know why they decided to use AI for. Oh, again, it's alleged that like, assumingly, it was just a poor intern that just found some stock images on that happened to be generative AI, but like obviously that's not going to stop people from denouncing the entire thing. But like Like, come on, is it really that hard? Is it really that hard to like do your own animation? Because here in this, like in the case of here, there is like people credited to have done like there is like an AI division and such, and Toy has an AI division. It's not as like their AI division is like I I don't remember, but their AI division is more for like I think they're animations, so it's just like I don't know. It looks like it's seeping into the live action stuff, but I mean, people would unfortunately, I think people would rather take the AI over just simple green screening. Speaking of which, jeez, what the heck? Speaking of which, we have to get into more of the teasers and like the suit images for Zets and such. To which, as we seemingly go through them, people were not having it because they're like, "What the heck, Toy? Where's all the budget?" Like, as we got all the forms, people were just throwing a casket about it because they're like, "What the heck? Why are all these just an Ichigo homage? Like, where's the creativity? What the heck? This is not my common writer. What the heck? Why does it keep doing that?" But like, they're like, "What the heck, Toy? This is not the common writer I signed up for. Why are you pandering to the Ichigo fans that are non-existent, to our Western demographic? You should be catering to us Westerners, not to where you're originally native from. We're more important than them," kind of thing. Honestly, I thought they were fine. Like, because I mean, people have been kind of saying like, well, like like they're using all like this is like all the Geats money. Like, where's all Geats' money going into to give us slop like this? You can't do this to us, Toy. You just can't. I had to keep doing that because this was really annoying to do. So, all right. So yeah, those were all the teasers. Everyone was throwing a casket about. Well, I hate that it does that. Everyone was throwing a casket about how too simple Zets looks, because it's just like, hey, you can't do that. Like, here, like, why is his belt on a sash now? Why not his waist? Come on, that's not a common rider. That's not even a driver. That's a satchel. Well, sucks for you people, but I think that's I think after that, it was the third teaser everyone was throwing a casket over because they're like, this looks too cheap now. The action looks too cheap. Where's all the money? Where did all this Geats money go to? So, sorry. Um, here's our cast. So, I think this is our cast. So, I, guys, like I've clearly watched the show. So, here's our let's bring out the highlighter tool. Here's our main character Baku. He's a spy, so he wears glasses. And then here's his younger sister Minami. And then there's the what is she, an idol or celebrity? Nem. She's right here. I don't know why it's in this order. It's weird. Tetsuya the detective, and then like his partner Natsuka, and then we got our villain Nox. Like, I think I haven't watched Kamen Rider since 01, so I think there's someone missing, but I don't know who. This is what was provided in the curriculum, so yeah. Anyways, our cast looks interesting to say at least, especially Nox. That is definitely interesting for sure. Anyways, now it's time for us to actually sit down and watch the show. So hopefully it pops up here. Oh, huh. Let me let me take a look at this for a second. Oh. Huh. Turns out that Zetz is region locked. Oh gee. So I guess we can't finish our lesson? Huh. Maybe this is because maybe this wouldn't have been the case if Westerners weren't so privileged and got everything but complain about everything. Cause then maybe then it wouldn't have been blocked. But who knows? My gosh. But huh. Well, all right then. Guess we're watching XOXZ then. Okay, that's too loud. But also, I don't want to get claimed. our our last or out not several of our lectures have gotten claimed. So even though that doesn't really matter, but it's just kind of common courtesy. So for the sake of this, we're gonna mute it. So then we're gonna mute it so then we don't get claimed. But as you can see from here, the very first shot here is you can see the rough edges. You can see some rough edges around here. So this obviously how this was done. Most likely how this was done obviously is that a green, obviously this is two separate layers physically of a green sheet and a hole. So this was mostly done by just pulling that green sheet off, and obviously because we can kind of see how reflective this is and such. But you can see it's rough here, but at the same time, you can tell that it is a completely separate layer as opposed to just being the same thing here. So there are several layers going on right here. I forgot this was muted. But as you can see from here too, this part is reflective. So this is definitely, it could be a silver like foil piece that they just keyed out. But cuz like as you can see from here, like the I can't use the laser pointer and stuff at the same time, but like you can see here, like this is kind of blending into the background. So yeah, and then there's also this stuff, like this kind of frame going on at the end too. Okay, so that's a close up. I think this is before Baku gets into the dream world, most likely, because like as you're gonna see from here, um, look, it crashes. Like there's a truck that crashes through the window. Like wow, but I don't look at all that glass. How's a truck even able to get this high? Like this had to like this is probably like the top of a building. So how did a truck get all the way up there? There's a Pegasus. I think this is recovery. Because recovery's green. I think this is our hint for recovery. I don't remember the full name. But oh wait. This is Physicum Impact. Because the truck ran through the glass. I think there are more Zets connections than I thought. This is just, there's a fish. There's glass shards. Oops. This looks like a actual like shot from above. Cause, or like what I mean is like this definitely looks real, especially with how it's lit. This looks like natural like lighting, and also if you were to look here, there's like actual reflections off the glass. Cause then like obviously the lighting to here is like you can tell is just not. Well, it's not bad obviously. That's not what we're trying to point out. But like you can tell like the lighting here you can definitely tell is more digital as opposed to this lighting. That's what I'm just trying to point out. We're not saying it's bad or anything. It's called an observation. But then yeah, it's just more of these shots. So, but like as you can see from here, like you can tell like how you can tell what the white with how the white is. Um, well, you can also just tell from here too. Of just like I think we should always accommodate for them like how well they managed to try to like match the digital assets of the city to this. I'm sorry that we keep harping on this, but it I just It's in the curriculum, guys. Like, I'm just following the curriculum. So I'm just check marking things. So I'm sorry. Also, like, obviously, again, I can't just blur out audio because then it's gonna get played that because technically, like, my last method didn't work of just constantly pausing and unpausing, because then I'll end up playing something for like too long and such. So, like, obviously we got like establishing close-up shots because I don't know why it did that, but because again, you have to keep in mind we're only 25 seconds in, and it's like, oh right, they need to establish the members. So, there's this truck. Look at the lens. These aren't lens flares, or I think they are. No, they're not lens flares. They're. Well, I mean, like, these are like the types of things you can do in optical flares, where here, this is the, like, can I change the color? No, that's not working. Yeah, so let's use the pen. So, like, okay. So this is how optical flares works. So you have, I don't know what's happening. So this is your star pattern, and you have your, like, settings right here for each of your assets. And then from this point, you have, like, you can scroll down from, like, for, like, I think up to like 7 sections of just like typical, like, settings and such. So, like, size, brightness, contrast, whatnot. So, like, oh no, that's this window. This window's for like the other, like settings of like what you want to add to your flare and such. So basically, the easiest, and like obviously, like, so like the easiest way to replicate this is literally just by literally picking like a, like, I think they call it, like, a glint, like, glow, and then like adding like a streak, like adding like a streak glow, and then like blurring that and such. Cause then, like, the frame before then, we have had to take off the pen tool. So, because as you can see here, like yeah, as you can, where's my cursor? As you can see, like, here, you still have the glow. Like, here's just like a normal, like, glow that I assume is tracking on this portion of the truck. And then you have this, like, faint red line. But then, as you can see, it transitions into, like, obviously to mimic speed. That's kind of the whole purpose of that kind of arrangement of glows, is to kind of or kind of perceive, like, hey, this thing is going really fast, so you needed to have it alter through a lot of colors and just, like, uh fields. As you can see here, I think we're I think this might be leading into the creation of the nightmare because this is on a truck. Maybe this truck transforms. How much of this can I play? It's so loud. Oh my gosh. See, as you can see from here, like the streaks still carry over and such to mimic speed. And as you can see here, like look at the CGI budget. Like this is like a lot after like I mean, from what we've seen so far, it kind of makes sense why people were kind of upset with like the budget in terms of like the actual like suits and such. Because it's just like if you guys are going to be so cheap with like how these are taken, then why did you guys go out of the way of actually making the actual final product to be like somewhat valuable? Well, I mean, I think there's a reason why, but so this what is this supposed to be? All right. This looks like a ship, but I think this is the road. Yeah, because the truck is right there. Now there's star filters around. So the thing too is that like obviously this is all green screen by the way, which it looks pretty decent for sure. Like this actually looks pretty good. Like, this is what happens when you actually have money. This is what we all wish we can do or have like, you know, that's what you call having a dream. Or this like obviously most people would rather clown around and being like, well, like look at this music video, they only had $5 in a dream. But it's like I even then like you have to kind of accommodate for all the like the effort. Like just because you throw more like obviously we want to like put out this message of like just because you put out more money to you push out you plumb out more money into a project doesn't necessarily make it like high quality. Which, because speaking of which, this is what people this one is what people claim to be low budget, which doesn't make sense. Because I like this one. Why is it so loud? So like, obviously, I think the way this worked, obviously, was that they just reversed the shot because a printer. Oh, I. Oh, I mean, no, I don't think they reversed the shot. They might have. I want to say they reversed the shot, but like at the same time, as we can see from here, they do come out the same. So is this a scanner? I don't know what industry printer this is. I think they're clearly blocking the printer off so then they don't get sued, or because obviously they don't have a sponsorship with this printer so they can't legally use it. Because that's why oh whoops. No. But like, you know, at the end of the day, we don't need to throw money at things. Cause like look at how this one opens up. Did this reset? No. Like we have like we will go back on the topic, but because like obviously like you understand why this one starts up really quickly. Why is it? Okay, I think okay, I think we are here. Okay, can we play this? Okay, yeah, that's all we can play. This one we will split apart. So as you can see here, it's like, oh, well, look, we're in the next transition. Because as you can see, now we're in this very, like, dream-like world. Okay. Okay. Don't get mad at me. Don't claim me for that. But, like, look at this transition. So, okay. Actually, looking at it now, it is kind of a weird transition because it already starts off with this being here. So this is already here, and then it just simply moves away. It's at least a 3D. It's a 3D object, obviously. As you can see, it has a reflection, but yeah, it's. Oh, I guess I get what it's trying to do because I think this is supposed to be in front of this platform, so it's like a perspective change. I think that's what it's trying to invoke. Can this be why? Again, I'm doing this for myself, not for the sake of avoiding getting claimed. Just just putting that to note. because because again, this is like the highest quality of these tend to be super loud when just left alone. So I want to obviously not kill my ears. Okay. So we have to figure out what that was. Not that I was trying to invoke, but like why we did that. Okay, yeah, because we were previously talking about. Yeah, okay, so this is a really quick sequence. Because then it cuts to the close up, and it's like we're back here. And then now we're back here. And there's that sequence. So it's like, okay. So this is the real world. This is before all the action happens. So I think this is the dream world before the nightmare takes over. I think that's what we're supposed to assume. Why does it reset? Oh my gosh. It's so annoying. The volume keeps resetting. But Yeah, so like this has to be symbolic if it's constantly like this. Or I mean, this is probably symbolic for this world. So yeah, we won't go. No, because this showed up earlier, or not exactly, but like this showed up earlier, but it was black. Huh. So yeah, again, this is the real world. I think this is an allusion to the nightmare showing up. Okay. And now, oh my gosh. Stay there. Oh my gosh. So this is back in, I think this is still the real world. I don't know the premise for Zets. I'm learning it through here. Okay. Yeah, that's all we can play. So yeah, now it's cutting back and forth. So it looks like the dream world is shattering. Cause look at all the glitter. Look at, but like, is this glitter? This has to be. I don't know. It can't. No, yeah. This. It's definitely a. It's it's definitely a semi-realistic glitter bomb, but it looks good. Okay, but this has to be physical. But at the same time, like I think it would just be more. Obviously, it would just be easier doing it in post rather than actually filling the place up with glitter. So yeah, cause see now there's like no more like I don't know. I actually don't know. It looks like they're half of them are enjoying it. I don't know where the other half are. And then look at these clouds. Look at these tidal waves. Whoops. There's a rainbow. What's next? Yeah. Okay. Wait. So as you can see here, so like this world is getting devoured. So like, what is this? The nightmare consuming the user? Is this what like? Is that the murmurs I've heard about the nightmares? I think the nightmares are like consuming the sleep the person that's sleeping. I think that's what's happening. All right. I do not want. Okay. This is 19 seconds, so we're gonna have to split it. Okay. We'll let it space. We'll space it out. But as you can see here, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, so I think we're supposed to assume maybe. I think the nightmare has completely consumed the user. Look at this bowling alley. Like, oh, you're gonna see later. Boy, like look at that. That's like a spike ball. Look at this bowling ball. Like this is impractical, but like I mean, it makes sense. The nightmare won. The nightmare succeeded. It consumed the sleeper. Whoop de doo. And then Sloth. Is that a fruit fly? And then, like, as you can see, like, periodically, like, see the. Sorry. we should end on a better frame. But, as you can see, the nightmare is like, or like, what does the curriculum want me to say? um, the nightmare, um, or I think like what is left out of the person is like spontaneously like coming out as like the nightmare consumes the sleeper. So I think that's what this entire sequence is like trying to represent. Look at all these shoes. I have to look at Ning Ning's shoe closet. I just saw it earlier. No. Where that's that's not what I'm looking for. Don't worry guys, this is part of the curriculum. This will be on your end of the year exam. It will literally be how much shoes are on this shelf. I just have to find the answer again. Someone shared it earlier. I don't need to keep seeing the wine bottles on the floor. Oh, like yes, guys. This we it says this. I was just informed that this live stream of Ning Nings is on the curriculum and is on in the final exam, so I have to quickly prepare for that. So please be patient. It was literally it was literally just here. Where where is it? It was just here. Don't tell me it resetted. Maybe I should have bookmarked it. Oh. Oh, guy. I'm sorry. I can't fail my students like this. I'm getting everything else except for what I'm looking for. But like, oh my, what? I'm sorry. That is not real. Alright. You know what? Here's the deal. If you find the image, you pass the entire end of the year exam. That is that will be our deal. Cuz now we're just getting into other things. All right. Let's Where were we? Oh gosh. Yeah, cuz that's just poison. Sorry. Okay, I think that's okay. We have to I think that's all we can play before the copyright police come in. So, um this shot is cool if we can get to it because I'm kind of fascinated with how it was done because it looks like a seamless shot, but because if sorry, I don't want to pause there. If we pay attention to like Wanyun's foot placements, okay, well, okay, so they forgot to take out a marker, but the thing about this is that it's consistent. So, well, I don't think it is. I think it's just because I think it's just very. It's a continuous shot, obviously, or it's a match shot, but it's a really nice one because it doesn't. It's not jittery, is the thing, or they. It's in a sense that like because I think they managed to cut it away. They managed to make it seamless by adding more things to it. I think that's what's impressive about this entire transition or this entire shot. Obviously, because all they had to do was just like we need a frame to stay on. Obviously, like all they managed to do was just um simply, I think they had to do like 3 takes on that. Obviously, one of just Wanyan herself, one with the group. We need to stop stopping on these frames. But, um, yeah, there. And then like one of like with the backup dancers. Oh, we're back here. Yeah, so and then like obviously like a close up. But like obviously this shot here um comprises comprise of 3 total shots in general. Sorry. I'm sorry for pausing at really bad places. I mean, I can literally just do that, but then you won't be able to see it. And plus, then my cursor then will. I have to keep phasing out. Okay. Yeah, obviously that has to be real. Well, those bowling. So yeah, this ball like is just destroyed the floor, and it destroyed the pins. Oh gosh. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not stopping on these frames intentionally. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh wait. So this part I think is weird. I don't get why it's cut like this. so so we got a wide shot, then we got a close up, and then we have a and we have a so it starts off as a wide close, not wide close up. Starts up as a wide shot, then like I think this is considered a medium close up, and then it's a, a medium shot, a medium dolly shot. I think this is a crane. A dolly is left to right, but like it just doesn't work because their arm formation is already halfway. So then for the next shot back at the bowling alley to be straight again doesn't really make. I don't know why they did that. It's definitely a weird decision. That's kind of like that kind of makes it janky, but other than that, it I get. I I, I don't know. I think it would have been. I wish it was smoother. Okay, and then like look, there's the sun. Oops. Oops, that's not what I want to click. There's the sun. Are the reflections getting reflected off? Yeah. Okay. So I think they're waking up now. So this truck is still going on. I I didn't click anything. I think the other 3 got establishing close-ups here. I think Yujin definitely did. Baku, I meant. I don't know who Yujin is, but yeah. Yeah, so that means. Yeah, so. Tets. No. Who did not get close ups? I think it was. Natsuka definitely didn't. Nox got two of them. Nem got two. Baku got one. Uh, Tetsuya got one, and none for Minami. Alright. Okay. I have to turn this off. No, why are we restarting? So, okay. XOX. So let's explain this, obviously, because most people are going to mishear it. So, we should not use black. We can't see black. Let's use red. So, XOXZ. Well, so, obviously, you say EXO as in, like, typically, I think the saying is, like, XOXO. Not. Can I erase that? Not. Not this EXO, though, but just XOXO. Obviously, this typically is like what you would say in like a case of like, is that what this is? Is that what this was talking about? I think this is finally piecing together to me now. I think we're finally getting it. I just. Here, I'll fix it for them. Oh, wait. No. The reason why it has a Z. It's because. Guys, it's because the Zets logo has three Z's to mimic sleeping. And as you can see here, the name Visions has an O. And then an S can be substituted for a Z. Then the V can be substituted for an X, because if you get rid of this one and cross it here, that becomes an X. And then you can make these two I's into an X. So that's why this song is called Visions, because in actuality, it's actually XOXZ. This is not where we were. We were here. So, I think that's where the Z comes from. But we also need to get over the fact that people are might hear this as, they might hear the Z as a G. Well, you just need to clean your ears. It's not that hard. Just get a literally just get a toothpick and like pick through. And like obviously some warm water. A toothpick and some warm water. Get that earwax out of your ear. How far were we? Jeez. Okay, this is another shot we need to discuss. We are back with another match shot. So as you can see from, okay, this is a lot more simpler because it's just a simple fade with like a heavy like filter, not filter, but like a very simple video that, or like a clip that is like overlaid on top of the two with this fade in. Like it's kind of like a tunnel, like it's kind of what you will see in like a tunnel, especially with like, yeah, this is a literal tunnel. So it's just a time lapse tunnel clip overlapped on these two shots fading in from one another. I think they did a good job at like matching or trying to match it. And yeah, there goes that. This is something you can easily do on After Effects. This is just fractional noise, but like, you probably need to do more to make it look like this. Maybe Blender, but yeah, that is the first episode of Kamen Rider Zets that we were able to get a hold of. Because I don't know why it keeps replaying. Am I going to get in trouble for constantly replaying that? I'm going to get in trouble for constantly replaying this. I don't think that captured. Why is it going at that speed? But okay. I definitely do enjoy this part. It's just that we can't enjoy it here because it's 19 seconds, and I think the copyright police are not going to have it. As I pressed the wrong button. Let's just wait. And now okay. We're gonna see if this works. But I doubt it will. Because this is what people criticize others for doing. In terms of, well, we're not reacting. We're this is a lecture course. Okay. Because as you can see here, the way you cheat the system is that you break up the 19 seconds into bits. So then YouTube can't detect it as you playing it entirely. It's a really bad way of transforming your content, but quote unquote transforming your content because it's just a really, it's not scummy, but like obviously people wouldn't prefer that. It's just easier just to play this with no audio because most companies aren't too upset with you playing the footage on, they're not upset with you when you play footage, but they're upset at you when you play the two together. It's just audio companies are more on you in terms of audio. This frame looks familiar. I feel like I've seen this frame. I kind of wish I can frame it better, but I can't. Like it was something like this. I don't know. I can't really get it to my head of like what what makes this frame so familiar. Maybe we will put this on the end of the year exam and then like, again, it will be like the same thing like of how many shoes were in the like bowling alley shelf compared to Ning Ning's closet. That'll probably be like an extra like bonus question. But I think the second one will be, where did this frame come from? And why is it like really familiar to me? Just something about this frame is like, I can't get it to my head. Huh. Oh well. We'll move on. Look how clean this frame looks. Or like look how clean this version is. Like though I don't get why the colors are different compared to both monitors, because I don't know how this is getting presented. But yeah, okay. So basically on the monitor that I'm operating the entire presentation on, it's darker. But on the monitor that I'm actually like looking at this on, it's not as it's not that it's washed out, like it's more whiter. What you guys are seeing, it's more browner. I don't know what the deal of that is. How much of this can get played? Okay. Wait, we should hear that again. We would. Does this avoid copyright? I don't know. Yeah, we just had the entire thing of this here in this presentation. It was just supplied, so we might as well put it here. But yeah, you know what? That does bring up a good question. Even though she was credited as what? Nasuka? I might have something. Wait. Oh. Oh no. Uh. Well, unfortunately, class, I think that'll have to do with this lecture. Uh, I'm not like fearing for my life or anything, but I don't know how that connection came to be. I'll dismiss class before potentially I get hunted down by that bear. So, want to keep the ink annotations? No, rather we'll end this. Please dismiss class. Class dismiss. Class dismiss.